Welcome to the 5% Club podcast, the space where ambitious leaders go to master their careers and their lives. I'm ShaylaMKing, a former C-suite executive turned performance and happiness coach. And this is the podcast for leaders who want it all. The promotions, the paychecks, and luxurious amounts of time for what matters most. Each week, I'll teach you how to work less, make more, and design a life you love. Let's go. Hey friends, Shayla here, jumping in to let you know that the Performance and Happiness Lab is opening for our fall cohort. So mark your calendars now. It opens on September 25th. It's the last one of the year, and I'm absolutely positive that it can change your career and your life. As you know, my one-on-one coaching is a 5-figure investment and it's currently full, but the Performance and Happiness Lab is available for $5,000. It's one of the best investments you can make in your career and your happiness, and you get an amazing community to support you. Imagine being surrounded by other like-minded leaders that are successful and want more, that are trying to figure out the demands of these high-pressured careers while balancing a family, and that all want to pour into you, that want to open doors for you and give advice on, yep, I've been there and here's how I handled it. The cohort and the actual group that you get within the Performance and Happiness Lab is unmatched. It's absolutely the best community to be in for corporate leaders. So I want to see you in there. Mark your calendars. Again, September 25th is when it opens, and it's gonna fill up fast. So make sure you're on my wait list at ShaylaKing.com, ShaylaKing.com. You'll be the first to know and the first in line. Now, I know some of you are already ready. You can go ahead and send me a note and say I'm in. For all of my quick decision makers, a lot of my leaders that I work with are quick decision makers. But if you have questions, I want to answer them all. So you can DM me on LinkedIn. You can send me a reply on any of my emails, and let's get those questions answered now so that when September 25th it comes around, you know for sure if it's a yes or no for you. Now we're starting in the fall, and this class will change what 2026 looks like in your career and your happiness. So let's get you in there now and reach out with any questions that you have. Let's go. Welcome back to the 5% Club. I'm ShaylaMKing, your favorite executive coach. And today I am joined by one of my real life clients, Dr. Kari Strange. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Kari. Will you start off by giving a little background to the audience on who you are, what you do, where you're from?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Shayla. I'm Dr. Kari Strange. I have a PhD in business management and I work in tech. I live in Wichita-ish, Kansas, out in the boonies, kind of. And when
My
I
hometown.
can, yes, and when I can, I have a second home in Colorado. Hopefully soon we'll be living there permanently.
Love that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about your coaching journey and give the audience a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like to be coached and be coached by me.
I love
So,
it.
will you give a little bit of a background? Where were you emotionally, professionally, or personally before we began coaching?
I think I was as low as I've ever been. And I sort of settled for a job, had a hard time making decision on what to do with that job. And I also was going through some stuff in my personal life that was new to me, but also sort of hard to manage. And just, I felt like all the way around, I was making decisions for myself that kept me in a suffering sort of state. So
Yeah.
when I reached out to potentially be one of your clients, initially it was because I thought if I got a new job, everything else wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. I think that's true for a lot of people. A lot of people reach out for the job, for the promotion, for the money. But then once they find out about working with me, what it's really like is, yes, I can get anyone promoted and I can help everybody make multiple X back of your investment in your salary or bonus structure or whatever. But the real magic is in the mindset and the happiness work. So we'll dig into some of that during this episode. But let's start with, tell me, like, what made you say yes to coaching and why me?
there was not another answer aside from figure it out. It's time to work with Shayla. So I knew that something I'd been craving um, in my brain was someone who had a powerful like mind, not the same, but who had traversed the same sort of challenges and really had a similar lifestyle and background. Not the same, of course, but where I felt like this person can help me think through the things that I'm not seeing because I'm in my own tunnel. Because how do you level up if you don't know what the next level looks like?
And I think that's interesting because a lot of people coaching, you can have an amazing coach who is ICF certified and trained in coaching, and they can absolutely help you with any problem, whether they've been through it or not. But I think it's like the super speed magic when you get someone who has done the things that you want and has things that you want and is a certified coach or is a good
Yes.
solid coach, right? Has the coaching ability. And so even though you weren't wanting to be a chief people officer, maybe you were a girl from Kansas that wanted an amazing career and an amazing life and
Yes.
had, like you said, traversed some of the challenges between our personal lives, our career lives, and working in male dominated fields, and like a lot of things in our lives that we're like, just want to master this, move to the next level, and have an extraordinary life. That's not asking for too much, right?
Exactly. No, it's not. That's exactly what we should be asking for. I mean, that's what I'm saying is bare minimum for me.
Yeah, I love that. So let's get into it. So inside of coaching, everything is 100% personalized to you, but we always use the backdrop of the performance and happiness formula. And so within that, we have results, relationships, rituals, and mindset. So let's jump in and go through those and hear about your experience. So for results, what career or personal goals did you accomplish that felt impossible before?
Well, my very favorite one and I'm going to kick off with my favorite one is I completely eradicated something that has plagued me my entire career. I started working full-time job when I was 20 years old at Spirit Aerosystems. And so I grew up really fast, like in my early adulthood, started having a big girl job. And from day one, I would wake up every morning and drudge through my morning routine, and I hated getting dressed. Absolutely hated it. And not until a couple of months ago did I really take the time to say, I don't want to do that anymore. Because I had to, as many have, do like a little return to office type situation in this post-COVID era. And I have to go into the office 2 days a week now. One of the biggest reasons I didn't want to go into the office is I don't want to have to get dressed and make those decisions because I'm using my beautiful brain power on something that feels like I don't want to spend my energy on that. When I said it out loud and said, I want to fix this and figured out the exact things, it was the easiest thing. And now I have, 8 to 10 shirts and 6 pairs of pants, and I have mix and match. And when I get dressed to go to the office, I do not have a single negative feeling in my body, in my mind. And like, this is what I do. I put my clothes on and I go to the office, and I know that I am showing up in a way that I want to show up. So I'm not worried about if my shirt fits right or if my pants are doing something weird. I built myself a uniform so that I don't have to waste my energy on that. I can now show up and focus on my work, which is what I was doing before when I was just working from home. I didn't have to spend energy on that. And the thought of going back to spending that much energy every day on something that seemed like it wasn't worth my energy, it felt like it was the right time to prioritize that. And I think that might be the message for all of the things especially as it relates to career and results that way, is that working with you has enabled me to sort of get out of my own way and stop shortchanging myself and say, these are easy things to fix. And if I do fix it, here's the outcome. so that I can focus on the treasure hunting that I want to do.
Yeah. And I love that because you said it's plagued you for your whole life. And so, what happens in coaching is we get to slow down and saying, what's working and what's not working in my life. And you can take something like this that is so relatable because so many of us have body image issues and just don't feel put together. And we don't feel like we get in the office and we're confident and we can meet with any executive, go into any meeting and look and feel sharp. Right. And so, what happens is you say, I don't like this. And I say, great, let's fix it. Right. And we'll figure out your thoughts behind it so it can be a permanent change. And then we'll figure out how you want to feel around it. And you told me all the words on how you wanted to feel, right? And that you wanted to feel confident. You didn't want to feel fussy. You wanted to feel comfortable. You wanted to feel like you could dress it up or down so that you can be in executive meetings with your jacket on or be comfy and casual in, a peer brainstorm. And so, and then you can go grab dinner or drinks right afterwards and still feel good. And so we talked about what you wanted. And then we said, okay, so how are we going to fix it? And you had it fixed in 3 days, a problem that had plagued you for your whole life. So it does not need to be clothes for anybody listening. It can be anything you want, but there are
Anything.
things that just keep bothering us over and over again. I remember when my kids were little, I had the most stressful morning routine as a lot of moms with little kids do. And the primary reason, I was like, what is the bottleneck? The bottleneck was I had one daughter who had decision fatigue about what she was going to wear. Right. And she would get really overwhelmed by it. And I, in my head, was being bullish. And I just said, well, if your little sister can get herself dressed, you can get yourself dressed. And so I just stuck with that for like years while I'm feeling pain that could have been easily fixed. So one day I said, you know what? What's the biggest bottleneck? And I was being coached myself, right? What's the biggest bottleneck in your morning that if this one thing was changed, everything else would get easier? And it was that. And so I sat with her and we picked out her little outfits for the week. And my whole freaking mornings changed. I didn't have the stress. I didn't have the rush. And so it doesn't need to have anything to do with clothes. But the idea is there are things that we just accept as part of our life that are uncomfortable, that are frustrating, that are hard, that are unnecessary pain. And we can decide in one coaching session that we don't like it anymore, figure out what amazing would look like, and then design it in. Some of these can be done in one session. Like your wardrobe was crazy. She literally sent me an email later that week about everything that she had purchased and how it was. And then the next week she was wearing the stuff and said, I feel more confident than I have in years. And so some of them are quick wins like that. And some of them will take a month or two and go through all the different sessions. And then it's solved for the rest of your life.
Or at least until they stop making the pieces that I bought and I have to figure out which ones to buy next, but we'll deal with that when it
But
comes.
the strategy is there. And the
Yes.
fact that now this is something I can solve for, and here's what I like and I don't like, and here's how I'm going to do it. Great. Now it won't be I was going to
It
use
won't
a bad word. It
won't
won't
be
be
a
a mind
plague.
issue anymore.
Yeah.
Because
It
you're
won't
just like,
plague
okay,
me.
well, I just need a new shirt.
Yep. And then it's a
I love it.
treasure hunt, and we know I love a treasure hunt.
You do love a treasure hunt. And part of what we worked on is giving you more time to be playful.
Yes.
Do you want to
In
talk about that?
fact, yeah. In fact, we prioritized that certainly to me, which it might have been more strategic on your part. But I do know that there have been a couple of times where I've come into our sessions and I'll be like, I'm just not doing anything fun. And you're like, why would you treat yourself like that?
Why would you do that? Why would you not?
Why aren't you having fun? That's what you like doing. Why aren't you doing that? And sometimes that's the type of reflection that I've needed to say, yeah, why am I not having fun? Why am I like putting myself through unnecessary suffering? In fact, I'm not a post-it note kind of girl. So the post-it notes that do exist in my world are all because of Shayla. One of them is the three things that humans are here for is to seek
It's our
pleasure, avoid
motivational
pain,
triad.
and to
Wait, sorry, I
stay
didn't mean to
safe.
interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's called the motivational triad. So tell us what it is.
To seek pleasure, to avoid pain, and to stay safe. And I wrote that down and have left it there because I'm a big fan of Maslow's hierarchy of needs because it gives me like where I know like if something's not right, I'm like, okay, what hasn't been met? It's the same as that. These are the three things that are baseline. And so if I'm not avoiding pain, but I'm like wallowing in it and not having a bad time, like That's not what I'm here for. Stop it. Use your energy for something else.
Yeah. So a lot of the work that we do, especially the mindset work, is to be really aware of what we're doing so that we're not just living that same life over and over again. We have, it depends on who you talk to, somewhere between 50 and 1,000 thoughts a day. And 90% of those are the same as yesterday. And so what we do in coaching is just learn to be aware of that. And our life, how happy we are or aren't, is based on that. And so you just gave a good example about how you now slow down and say, wait, this doesn't feel like it's working for me. I don't like the results or the feeling of it. So I have choice and I can change. And I think that that empowerment in the small details of life and throughout the day is really an important background piece of the work we do.
Yes. And there are times when we have to do it again because we're building muscle memory. I call it muscle memory. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, Shayla's been over this with me and we're going to do it again because it's not as easy to put together as my wardrobe was. That was an easy one to put together because I had been sitting with it for so much of my life. But there are a lot of things that I have benevolently just ignored because I am the queen of that sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. So one, it's whether or not you're ready and you are ready for the wardrobe change. But two is how hard of a habit is it to change? And when it's something that has to do with our thoughts, that can just take more work to rewire and remind. You can do a great job at first, and then life happens and stress happens, and we revert back to what we're used to. So you can't like walk into a forest for 30 years and turn around and walk out in a week, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that that is exactly why I coached with you for a year, because why I do year-long coaching is because you're going to learn these things. You're going to try these things and apply them. And then we're going to come to our sessions and we're going to say, this worked, this didn't, this is what I want to do differently. And then you're going to be like, okay, I feel like I got this. I feel like I know how to do this now. And then stress is going to happen and life is going to life and things are going to go wrong and you're going to revert back. And I'm still going to be right by your side during that. And then you're going to learn how to get back on track and how to do it amidst the stress. And when that happens, then you're going to be able to do it on your own. And by the end of the year, it's just who you are and it's what you do. So we talked about results, and one of the results that you got was creating the new wardrobe and eliminating kind of that decision fatigue around it and filling up more confidently, right?
Yes.
Showing up more confidently when you were wearing
Yes.
those new clothes. So
Yeah.
are there any other results that you want to mention before we move on to relationships?
The mindset shifts too. I am doing more with less. I am getting the things off my plate that, the mundane stuff that I don't, love doing, but I'm getting that out of the way so that I have time and energy left for the things that do bring me joy, that do make me feel curious, that do feel a little playful even at work. And upon beginning our coaching relationship together, I could not have put that on the list of things that I was looking for.
Yeah. I don't
Because
think people even know how much they can speed up until I can show them how much they're slowing themselves down.
yeah, because at first I was like, well, I just don't want to do it, Shayla. And you're like, we all do things that we don't want to do. And I'm like, I know, but I'm going to be over here being very stubborn about it. And you're like, but what if you just did it and you didn't give it this undue amount of energy? And I was like, oh, so I don't have to be mad at it first. That's a shift for me. And so not spending time and energy on being mad-ish at this task I need to accomplish leaves me energy to do so many more things. And in fact, I've found myself with an almost obscene amount of extra time on my hands. And I'm
Which
like,
we call a luxurious amount of time for the things that matter most.
yes. And now I get to choose more things that matter.
Yeah.
I get to decide
Yeah.
what matters because my collection of things that matter are not, they're prioritized out of survival instead of choice. And so now I'm choosing what I'm spending my precious energy on and what I have space for in my mind. I know that the world is a hard place and is a deeply tender person. There are times when I come to a session and I'm like, Shayla, everything's really heavy today. You're like, so we're in a doom loop. We know what to do today. And having that reminder and that I have a toolkit and I don't have to stay in suffering is hands down the biggest result. Yeah, I could come on your podcast and say, I mean, because it will happen eventually. My salary will like double and it'll be great. That still won't feel as good. And I think that that's pretty powerful, that the thing that we're all chasing in the world is having more resources to do whatever it is we want to do. But what's more powerful for me is to be able to work with myself and manage my brain, manage my thoughts, and channel that in a way that I choose as opposed to what I'm just surviving in.
I love that. And the way you just described it. So we want to make more money so that we have more choices and we can do what we want to do with that money. But it's only because we think that experience will give us this feeling. And it's the
Hmm.
feeling we're actually chasing. But
Right.
you're learning how to have that feeling right now. And money was never an issue for you when we started, anyways. And it wasn't like I need a new job tomorrow. That was never what we were going for. But since we've started working together, I think you have really prioritized our topics to be around happiness and around relationships. And we've done some time management, but the time management even stemmed from when I spend my time like this, I feel like shit. I don't like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Right. And so you gave a perfect example about the mundane, boring work that you don't want to do. And you used to like really fight with it. And I just said, like, and when you fight with it, when you're annoyed by it, when you can't believe it's part of your workload or expected of you, or it's so boring, how do you feel? You're like, well, I feel like crap. And I'm like, well, do you want to feel like crap? And you're like, no. And I'm like, well, then let's think differently about it. What if we just thought this stuff's super boring, so I get it done super fast? And I never think about it again. And my dad has a saying that Kari loves, so I will share it with you all. And
So
it's
into
don't,
it.
you want to say it? You share it.
I don't, I, yes. Okay. I'll do it. We don't sweat the pee pee shit.
Don't sweat the pee pee shit. Quoted by Mike King. So any of the small stuff, like just don't even have it on your radar. We just get it done. We move on to the parts of our life that we love. And we sure don't want to keep repeating it on overdrive about how annoying the thing is because that just makes us miserable. So we
Right.
get it done quick, and we move on. I
And
love
it's,
it. Okay.
and that shift has opened up just like a whirlwind of like, I have energy left for play at
Yes.
work. And all of a sudden work becomes more fun. And I'm like, even the dishes are more fun. Even just household tasks are easier. Being alive is easier. One of the things that when I'm in a low place, I will find myself saying is, man, being alive is really hard. And it can be.
I'm only laughing because that is the kind of saying that when you say being alive is really hard, how do you feel? Of course, we feel
Today,
miserable when we think
yeah,
that, right? And so now what do you say to yourself? You
just
said
the
it's easier
I
when you wash the dishes. Like, what kind of thoughts
yeah.
are going through your head then?
Well, if I do the dishes, then a number of other arguably worse things, just like if I'm sweating the pee pee shit. I just walk around the pee pee shit for a long time. It just gets smellier and worse. And so that visual was very really stuck with me.
You
So
like a good metaphor.
yeah, yeah, I do. So with the dishes and things like that, they just continue to pile up if you don't address them. So all of those little things that take just a drop of energy, 10 minutes of my time, getting them out of the way so that I have my luxurious amounts of time to spend my big, beautiful brain on is, in fact, I'm experiencing something that I think I've saved for the podcast. And I don't think I've told you this yet, Shayla, but I'm experiencing something that I've never experienced in my life. I've had moments only in the last very recent history where I've been like, okay, well, I think I'm out of things to think about. I'm not overthinking anymore because the important things get my attention, the things that bring me joy get my energy and my attention. And then the things that are just sort of required for me to live peacefully elsewhere, they get handled.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that because I think it'll really relate to anyone else who's an overthinker. I'm definitely naturally an overthinker. And the amount of peace that comes when you run out of thoughts is beautiful. And I don't think people understand how much control we have over our thoughts. You can let your brain go wherever it wants. Now that you have the luxurious amount of time, how you can use it for fun, creative stuff.
Yeah, I don't have other obligations like reading a textbook like I used to. So I can read other books for fun. I can paint or draw or put glitter and sparkly things together and just be happy looking at them. And none of that is taking away from any other obligation or part of my life because I'm getting those things handled and creating a world for myself and my family where my default, my baseline is I have energy for me, for
Yes.
being alive.
A lot of people come to me because they're so overwhelmed and their schedule is so busy. And so, how does this even sound realistic that not only is your schedule not busy anymore, but you've got like extra time? Like, what would you say to somebody who's like, I can't even buy that that's possible?
Then you're doing too much. Like, are you making decisions that serve your life and the things that you want? Or are you just saying yes because you're shoulding on yourself? Like, because that's the
And how
easy
does
thing to
coaching
do.
help with that?
Well, one of the things that you say all the time is, what kind of work can you say no to? Like, do the promotable work, do the valuable work, but also deciding, like making thoughtful choices.
Yeah.
And that is a skill set that coaching has enabled for me because I didn't even know that was possible.
People to know is that there is so much choice in it when it feels like there's not. And so one of the first things we do is we work on like adding nothing for the first month. You're not allowed to volunteer for anything or be voluntold for anything. And we start to give you a little reprieve in your schedule and then we analyze the whole thing. So we can say what's working, what's not. And we'll go as deep into this as each person needs. And when we do that, we're able to really dissect what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to and asking why. And there is a lot of non promotable work. Also, a lot of that is really valuable work for the company. So you can sit there and say, now that I got all these little things done really quick, what is the best way I can add value for my company? And maybe it's in doing a process improvement within your current scope. Maybe it's going after new revenue or a new project or thinking about something vastly differently than you ever did before, or raising your hand to lead the next strategic project. And when you are overwhelmed by your work, you don't even have time to think about those innovations for the future, right? And no
Hmm.
one is going to give you the big project because you look overwhelmed. You look
Yes.
like you're barely holding together with what you have today. So why would I give you a bigger project to distract you from what you're already struggling with? And so I think that's really important for people to know is we have to get a handle on our capacity and our workload, but so much of that is through mindset work. And so much of that is through intentional decisions on what we're working on. So I just love that you've talked about how coaching was able to help you with your energy level and your capacity.
Yeah. And I'm not spending all of that on just work anymore. It's work used to consume me, and that was my identity, which I did go through a little bit of an identity crisis for a minute because I was like, if I'm not this super ambitious professional, who am I?
Hmm.
But I'm very multifaceted and there's so much more to
Yeah.
me than just working in tech and, doing emails and checking boxes, but rather, yeah, I can do those things, but I'm not completely zoned out at the end of the day because
Yeah, you've
I'm
got that energy and life back for your evenings and for your weekends. And you're a very playful person, and you have added in a lot of crafts and trips and activities. And you were part of our Epic 2025 retreat as well. And in that, we come up with the really big stuff for the year that you're going to look forward to and be excited by. And you were able to make plans in your life to make those things real and possible. But then working together one on one, we also look at all the little moments. It's not just about that grand thing. How do we make fun in the little moments? So, do you want to share just a couple of things that are like, this is not my work persona? This is stuff that I just do for fulfillment and fun.
Yeah. So one of the things that we worked on, and I don't even know exactly how we got there, but we call them my pause buckets because sometimes I will get a little bullheaded and monotonous and just charge through things and forget to come up for air. And that's usually when I get into low value cycles. And so I've created little, so we have a small, medium, and large type of pause bucket situations. And they are physical manifestations of things. I have little art projects that I keep based on the inputs and the mess that it makes. And those are things that I can easily grab when I need 5 minutes to clear my head
Yeah. Well,
or
whenever we're
set.
changing a habit, we that physical cue makes a huge difference. Yeah. No, I love it. And I think as adults, a lot of times, and I'm the queen or the king of this. I take myself as such a serious person that I don't have time to play, right? But it activates a different part of our brain and it can be like active meditation. Coloring for adults is fantastic. Doing a puzzle, doing Legos, painting, everybody can find whatever it is. I know you've been obsessed with like doing your own nails lately and doing different designs and stuff, right? I do love your message of just like adults need more playfulness and it helps you to feel alive. It helps you to remember all the goodness in life and not just get sucked into work. I have clients that come to me and say they haven't taken a lunch in 7 years. And when I say, what's evoking joy in your life, they're like, that sentence doesn't even resonate with me. Joy? Like I am in the grind. And we didn't come this far to stay in the grind. Yeah, I think sometimes it can be hard to describe, but what you said, I know the investment is real financially, and you have to. I ask for two things from all of my clients. And do you remember what they are? That
Yes,
you must agree to if you're going to work with me. So, what are the two things?
you must believe in the inevitability of all of your dreams coming true.
Yes. And you must be willing to be uncomfortable to go get them. So, those are the
Yep.
two things. But when we think about the investment in time, what I think is miraculous is we meet for 30 minutes a week.
Yeah.
And we meet every single week. So you can go out and you can apply things, and then we can do an after action review. What worked, what didn't, what do we want to do different? And
Mhm.
how is that toolbox and that mindset working for us? Because every time as you do this, you're growing into a new person. And so you're never thinking about a problem in the same way you used to.
Great.
So you've evolved your thinking. And when you evolve your thinking, it can change how you respond to everything. It can change the decisions you're making, the results that you get. And so that's the one piece that I think people don't understand is the impact that you can have in a small investment of your time.
Yes.
Now, I'm asking for a big investment of your commitment to action and being uncomfortable and believing it can come true. And it's a financial investment. But for your time, it actually is a pretty damn small for the transformation that you're getting.
Yes. Yes,
So
for
I know a
sure.
lot of people worry about, can I add one more thing to my plate because I'm so busy already? So what would you say to that?
Your priorities need realignment. Well, I mean that in that if you are not prioritizing yourself, your well-being, your goals, your growth, then is there something else that you're giving weight to that you could give up that would have very little impact that or that could wait? This isn't like a college class. This isn't a certification you're getting. You're chasing your best life. And so I
You're
stand by what
creating
I
your best
said.
life.
Yeah. I mean,
I love that.
yes.
She's like, I double down, change
I,
your priorities. But I mean, I do think that's a good point. I think that sometimes people fear, like, how much time am I going to have to be like in the sessions? And then I hear she has evolve work. Like, is this going to be like going back for my master's degree and I have to put in 6 hours of studying a week and of work a week? And so just wanted to kind of clear the air on some of that, on how actually small the amount of time investment. All in 30 minutes, y'all.
yeah, for real. And I know that one of the things that has stuck with me over time, and I think this is me being a little bit of a business PhD, is one of your goals in working with people is, or maybe not goals, but hope is that your clients will see their investment financially come back to them. Because this is the quantifiable part of it. I do want to share that one of my ultimate dreams in life has been to relocate to Colorado from Kansas, where I do not thrive here. And I'm so excited. We, in just a couple of weeks, are picking up and we are moving full time to Colorado. And
Yes.
the reason for that is my partner has accepted a new job that does check that box. And it was really fun to actually say that out loud to her because she's like, I'm ready for it to be my turn to work with Shayla. And, but I know that we're still, and we're still financially investing in your time with Shayla. And I was like, well, hold on. We have officially recovered our Shayla investment
You
and
have
then some.
officially, I think, 4 times your investment.
Yes. Yes.
That's so good. That's so good.
And that's not even me. And
Yeah.
so, like, while
But
I
will you
haven't,
connect the dots on like how that relates to coaching with me?
yeah, yeah. So my partner, so I really wanted my partner to apply for this job. She wasn't sure if it was the timing was off or anything. I was like, doesn't hurt to give it a whirl. And prior to her first interview, that sitting with it for that long, she was like, no, this is exactly what we should be doing. This is what I want to do. I'm all in. And so with Shayla's buy-in, we did a interview strategy session with her. So she took one of my sessions, and so I took lots of notes. So I got something out of the session too, and prepped her for her interview. And it was a long process, but
Yeah, so that's a key. So we spent an hour doing the prep session, and
yeah,
she asked all the right questions, and she's like a sponge, and she took it all in, and then she killed it in the interview.
yeah,
And then they had this super long process. So we were also checking in between because, as you guys know, when you have an interview and now it's like crickets for 8 weeks, you're like, it can be really hard to keep the hope and keep the
yeah.
energy up and all of that. And
And
so
we're not
we checked in
exaggerating
between.
on the 8 weeks. There's no
Yeah, eight
exaggeration there.
weeks. And then a
Yeah.
second interview. So, what do we want to think about before the second interview? So then she did extraordinary at that one too.
Yes.
And
Yep.
then she got the job.
Yep.
And
Uh,
then I think I was in Chicago. Wasn't I in Chicago? Yeah, I was
I
flying to
think so. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yes.
And then she got the job. She got the job offer. So then we got to spend a little bit of time on negotiations, which is one of my favorite
Yes.
parts of it too. It's such an empowering moment to be able to, you've
Yeah.
received the offer. Now, how in your power, without being get energy and needing to get something because you feel insecure, or without this aggressiveness, and without getting walked on. It's this
Right.
beautiful dance of finding the middle of like, here's my value, and here's what I think I'll bring to the role, and here's what I would like to negotiate. So, will you tell us? You don't have to give any real numbers, but tell us how negotiations went too.
Yeah, she got everything she asked for. So she was a little
Yes.
nervous about it. And after a little pep from Shayla and some research and putting in the work, she they gave her the additional increase in salary as well as continuing ed stipend
Education
for,
stipend. Don't y'all love that?
yes,
You should ask for
for
that when
every,
you're getting a job. I don't think a lot of
yeah,
people know that like a lot of companies pay for coaching too. So whether it's coaching or going to conferences, that's something you can negotiate in at the onset.
yeah. And that is an annual investment in her. So, and she can use that however she chooses for whatever for development.
Yeah.
And all of the other terms were already favorable. So we were all in. And
Love it. And now you're getting to relocate to your dream
yes,
city and state.
and I don't even I'm a little dumbfounded that it's finally happening. Like I'm leaning into when Shayla says, and now it's time for more. Now we're gonna dream for more.
Time for more. I
Yeah.
know. Because what we do, we just like say what we want and then we go get it with the right mindset.
Yep.
And then we have it.
Yep.
So now we get to say thanks. I'm so grateful. And I want more.
Yes.
What's
And
next?
now my dreams are bigger. Just like you mentioned to me the other day, and this one that's been on repeat in my head is ha what do you think it's gonna feel like when your new 10 is today's 4?
Today's 10 was only actually a 4.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
weird thing to think about. And guys may or may not like that exercise, but it can be powerful just to think like, what if the world is so much bigger than we thought it was? What if our potential is so much greater than we thought it was? And this is the silliest example ever, but do you guys know what a bumbo is? Like the little thing a baby sits in when they're like 6, 9 months old, like when they can't, maybe it's 4 to 7
Yeah.
months
It
old.
has the
However
little
old you,
leg cutouts.
yeah. And it's
Okay.
like, because they can't sit up themselves, it helps them. Every one of us was a baby in a bumbo.
Yes.
And then you know what happened? We decided what we could be when we grew up.
Yeah.
And
And
some
like,
of us decided we were going to work an hourly job that is hard and laborious. And that was what we were going to be.
yeah.
Perfectly fine. I'm not saying anything negative about that. I'm saying some of us, that's the possibility that we saw for ourselves.
Yeah.
Some people saw that they could be doctors and lawyers and all of these corporate professions that seem respectable and make a lot of money, that other people say, I could never be a surgeon. And some people thought that they could be a celebrity or an influencer or the most inspirational person ever or a scientist or an astronaut. But we were all babies in a bumbo, y'all.
Yeah. When I was a baby in a bumbo, I told my mom I want to be president someday. Now, as the adultier
President of what?
version, exactly, the adultier version of me does not want to be um, president of a nation, but rather president will someday be in my title.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, and it just gives us this chance that, like, wait, somehow little Shayla didn't think she'd be living the life that she has now,
Yeah.
right? And so, but now that I'm at where I'm at, you do have to say what's next and what's your
Yeah.
dream and how big can this thing get?
Yeah.
And I want to be the best coach for corporate America,
Yeah.
right? I want to be the go-to for anyone in corporate that wants to be a high performer and happy.
Yes.
And I want to help as many humans as possible so that we can have less suffering and people can have these big, bold, ambitious lives. I had an amazing career in corporate. And I see all this messaging that just says if you want work-life balance, if you want to have a good life, you have to stop working for the man. And you have to leave corporate America and work for yourself. It's just simply not true. That
I
is a path.
that
That is not the only
sounds
path.
right. That sounds like very few people actually do that and don't work more. Because if you go off, you know firsthand, Shayla, sometimes that the PP shit work still exists no matter who you're working for. And
One of the sayings that I love on that, somebody said, I'm not working 40 hours a week for someone else. I'm going to work 100 hours a week for myself.
right, right.
Right.
And at
But
least then
people
you get to
really
ch
do
make
can,
choices, right? Then you get to choose. And so maybe that's
but we're
what,
not victims in corporate. And that's one of the main
right,
things I want to get across is like people condemn corporate and you can have amazing careers. I mean, the amount of opportunities that I had to travel around the world there's like job perks too of, how many suites I've been in for
right,
concerts and games and all of that kind of stuff. I had a lot of vendors that used to take us on these tours. We do like food tours and like have fancy chefs giving you signed cookbooks and like, I don't know, it's a million of small things. In addition to that, I got to work with amazing people
yeah,
and get really impactful work done and have the pride of that and build crazy good friendships and make enough money to take my kids as a single mom out of the country on
right,
vacations and to take them to Disney as a single mom and I took them with me once. We acquired a company and I brought them with me for 3 weeks to Idaho. And I worked during the week and we went
Yeah.
snowboarding on the weekends.
There you
Like
go. Yep.
corporate can be amazing and nobody talks
Yes.
about it. There's no coaches saying, let me teach you how to build a great life in corporate. So that's my dream. That's my
Yeah.
dream is to help everybody live these big, bold dreams and not suffer,
That's right.
not come home exhausted, not have time for their health and their families, right? So
Yes.
that's my dream. And I
And
just
I
want it to
am
get bigger and
living
bigger.
it. I'm living it. I'm living, I am a manifestation of your dream coming true because my days are filled with joy, and not in
I get so like nerdy
insignificant ways.
excited for you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Say that again.
uh,
Sorry. I
the,
got happy over here and interrupted.
my days are filled with joy. I don't have days that hit so hard they're insurmountable. I have challenges just like anybody else, but that's what they are. They're challenges and opportunities. They, the hard moments are there for a reason, but we know how to work through them. Done. Because, like, I want to feel good. I want to feel good. I want to feel great. I want to feel good in my body. And so there are steps to doing that. And it's something that I've had to learn. I feel like I've always been a pretty good learner. And somewhere along the way, I never learned how to like just be a human. Like
You didn't
my
get the book? You didn't go to the class? You didn't
no,
go to the humaning class?
no, it's kind of like they're like, why did I have to take algebra, but I don't know how to do my taxes? Um,
Yeah,
I never
why?
learned how to hear my body. So like I've had like catastrophic health events because my body and my brain are separate entities that don't communicate well. And so I've had to build those synapses and build up practice to care for my physical
Yourself.
self
Hmm.
instead of running myself into the ground. And so not only like have we done that sort of work in coaching, but we've also done that work on caring for my mind.
Yeah. The thing that you say that I love is that you're experiencing life so much differently.
Yeah.
And you can be in the exact same situation. You can work for the same boss in the same company, and you can feel completely different about it.
Yes. Yeah.
And then people can make decisions and to stay, to leave, to do whatever they want. But we make
Yeah, of
those decisions out
course.
of abundance. And now we have this amazing tool set and toolkit that we get to bring with us to any company, to any role, anywhere, and everywhere outside of work too.
Yeah.
And that skill set lets us be in charge and lets
Yeah.
us have fun
Instead
and lets
of,
us not sweat the pee shit.
that's right. Instead of just walking away from something that doesn't serve me well, it's still the reality, but the reality isn't as heavy as it once was. It's digestible and manageable, and um, the next right thing is clearer because of these experiences.
I want a hugely joy filled life for you, Kari. And it's been my pleasure to work with you. And I love watching your happiness grow, your success grow, your relationship grow. And I'm so happy for you. My clients are freaking amazing, right? And I love connecting you. So I know you've met another couple of my clients. Like I'll connect people one off for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's because you're in the same industry or you want to break into their industry or their role. And sometimes it's like a friendship vibe. It could be a lot of different things. And I just love my clients so much that that's why I knew I had to go from one-on-one coaching to a group program. So now we're rolling out the Performance and Happiness Lab. And the entire idea of that is that you get to be in this cohort with other amazing leaders. And after that, you get to stay with them in success circles, which is a small group coaching. It's invite only. So it's going to be like amazing, supportive people in there. And what I love about it is everyone in there is at the same level, dealing with those same pressures and stress, and they're wildly ambitious and they want more and they want to be happier and they want it all. And so I think it's rare in our lives sometimes, right? Our regular friend groups aren't always in the same careers or aren't always at the same financial level that we are. And so I was talking to a client the other day that said, I got the biggest bonus of my life and I was so excited to tell you. I don't have anyone else to tell. My other friend's getting a divorce. My other friend's a teacher. I can't tell them I got a 6-figure bonus. But I got a 6-figure bonus, you know? And like, I want people to be able to brag about this. A big freaking deal. You should be so proud of yourself. I think it'll be even expanded in the Performance and Happiness Lab. So you'll get to work with amazing leaders like Kari, like Ellie that you've seen on the podcast, like others that are coming on the podcast. And it's going to be a group of leaders who are going to be vulnerable and share their challenges and what they're up against and be inspirational because they're doing the damn thing and it's working. And to have the network where they are happy to introduce you. I have other clients that have literally gotten each other interviews at Fortune 10 companies and are just so happy to help and make those warm introductions. And we all know, what's the saying, like your net worth is your network, right? Or your network is your net worth. And just understanding really the power of those relationships. So I'm just so excited about that and always creating some group opportunities for my peeps, for the 5% Club. If you are ready to finally get that promotion, figure out work-life balance, or master your performance and your happiness, it's your time. The Performance and Happiness Lab is opening. Mark your calendars, September 25th. It's 3 months long. You learn the results, relationships, rituals, and mindset that you need to be a high-performing and happy executive. Now, it opens on the 25th and it is going to sell out fast. So I want to give you a few opportunities to be able to reach out to me ahead of time for any information that you need. I know that some of you are very quick decision makers. You know what you want. You know what will help get you there fast. So you're already in. Fabulous. Send me a note. Let me know. We'll hold a spot for you if you do it before the 25th. Okay? But if you have more questions, no problem at all. I'd love to answer them for you. You can DM me on LinkedIn or reply to any of my emails. But for sure, what you want to do is make sure that you are on the wait list so that you get all the information and details about what's coming out. And we're going to host a webinar so that you can learn the promotion playbook on exactly what you need to get promoted to the executive level while loving your whole damn life. All right, September 25th, mark your dates. The investment is $5,000. It will change your career and your life, and you will be surrounded by other winners, people that are in the exact same situation as you, that are successful and they want more. These people offer advice and guidance and open doors for you, and you get to support them as well as a member of this group. It is time to level up. You want to be in the room. It's the best room there is. If you are a corporate leader, it's how you level up quickly. Let's go. I want to see you in there. Ask me any questions that you have. Don't hold back. DM me on LinkedIn or shoot me an email. Can't wait to see you in the room. Let's go. Thanks for joining me in the 5% Club today. If you're ready to work less, make more, and design a life you love, go to ShaylaMKing.com to join the 5% Club waitlist. Each Monday, I'll send you something you can implement immediately, and you'll be the first to know when applications open for the Performance and Happiness Lab, my group training program designed to accelerate you into a happy, confident executive who loves their whole life. See you there.